this December 7th through 9th. Check out the EdUp Experience podcast live and in person in Doha, Qatar for the World Innovation Summit on Education. We will be documenting the ideas and innovations from today's most influential global education leaders. Check them out at wise-qatar.org and follow the EdUp Experience podcast for more information. Yay! Guys, this is Joe just popping in to ask if you've signed up for your free marketing consultation with MDT Marketing yet. If you haven't, head to mdtmarketing.com/edup, submit your information, get your free consultation today. Don't do it alone. Find the right partner. Welcome back, everybody. This is the EdUp Experience, where we make education your business. Dr. Joe Salustio here with you again. When this episode comes out, you may have heard, if you are on social media at all or have any kind of contact with higher education, we feel like you may have come across the EdUp Experience at some point. But as you may know by now, Elvin and I were invited as media partners to the World Innovation Summit on Education. Coming up in December, we will be going live to Doha, Qatar to help document the innovations and ideas from today's global education leaders. Yes, I said Doha, Qatar. I can't tell you how excited we are to be a part of the WISE conference in Doha. Pretty crazy. I'll be coming from Southern California to Doha. I feel like that's a very long trip. So I'm going to see if anybody else has taken a trip like that to find out how many hours that might be. It feels like it might be days compared to hours. But anyway, please don't forget to head to edupexperience.com and give us a review of your EdUp experience if you are a guest. If you are somebody who listens, we thank you, and go give us a review. Tell us what you think, especially of Elvin's editing and producing skills. Keep me out of it, out of the reviews, unless they're positive. If you're going to write a positive review for me, please do. But if it's negative, please just talk to Elvin about that stuff. But we're all good here. We love positivity, and I've got a very positive, an amazing guest with me today, and she asked for a specific introduction sound, which I'm going to give to her. Here she is, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Summer McGee, Salem Academy and College president. Summer, how are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
Did you like your party horn that I
I loved it. It was exactly what I asked for.
Yeah, I was going to go with a drum roll here. Summer McGee, everybody. Anyway. I get into this, Summer. I like to have fun, if you can't tell.
It's great. I love it. The drum roll was a bit more anticipation and build up, but I like the party horn. We're here to have a good time.
We're going to keep trying different sounds for you to see what sticks. Summer, so honored to have you with us today. Salem Academy and College. Let's just go high level. Where are you? Where are you guys located? What do you do, and how do you do it?
So Salem Academy and College has been an educational institution for girls and women for now 250 years. We are celebrating our founding in 1772 this year, and we have been an educational institution that has been focused on providing educational opportunities for the underserved, located here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, where I have lived for the last 3 months. A wonderful, one of the best college towns in America, I would say, a phenomenal place with remarkable academic institutions, and ours is the oldest, and we are very fortunate to have the opportunity to educate young women and girls 9 through 12 in our academy, and then we offer both undergraduate as well as adult and graduate education programs for women, and at the graduate and adult level we also are co-educational. So very proud of our history and thrilled to be a part of such a remarkable institution that was founded to create more access for education at a time, of course, when women were not a large part of our educational community or certainly our workforce.
Summer, I have to ask you how you manage all the different stakeholder perspectives. When you're looking at an academy and a college all put together, you've got parents from the 9 through 12, the K through 12, or not K through 12, the 9 through 12. You've got parents of students going into higher ed, and then you have the adult students. So there's a lot of varying perspectives, a lot of stakeholder management, and dare I say, a lot of pressures, right? I think there's a lot of pressure on higher ed presidents and administrators to be like perfect to some degree and satisfy all the different stakeholder perspectives. And you have definitely a spectrum of them.
We absolutely do. And I think everyone in higher education now knows, of course, we deal with parents too, even for our adult students, but being able to try to meet the needs and expectations of students ranging from 13 years old all the way up to and through seniors who are joining us for our adult education program really means you have to do a lot of listening, you have to do a lot of talking, and certainly as it relates to things like COVID-19 and vaccination policies and how do we continue to operate a campus and have guests, and particularly as we're celebrating a momentous anniversary this year and want to bring large groups to our campus. There's a lot of discussion about how do we meet students' needs and expectations for everything from health and safety to, of course, our curricular offerings and the things that we do in the classroom. So for me, it's all been about listening and taking the feedback and then trying to find ways to navigate and meet the needs of as many of those groups as we possibly can, while remaining true to our history and our mission. And so at a time of tremendous change in our institution, that's often quite challenging. But I think the first step is just always listening and being able to build and create that narrative that works for the institution at that time.
How's your time vary? Okay, so do you spend more time on the students, coming up to become seniors and move on to college? Are you spending more of your time on this? I'm sure this is the right answer is to everyone, but how does your time divided, or how do you take a policy and blanket that policy across all the different grade levels, if you will? How do you have to split your time? Because it seems like those jobs are very different, right? Getting students ready in high school to move on to college and then having students in higher education, there's a big difference. And how do you balance that?
Yeah, so I think as every college president knows, no 2 days are alike. And so the balance is never the same
It's the
one day
truth, right?
from the next. But what I would say is that I have made a commitment to really try to focus as equally as possible as I can on both our academy and our college student populations. Our college is much larger than our academy, so it does tend to be the case that those issues and policies and concerns that come up with our college students tend to take a bit more time. But really have worked to make sure that both of these institutions under this common umbrella of Salem Academy and College are getting the same level of attention and focus and planning and resources that they need to be successful in their own very unique ways. And so it's a bit of a moving target, and it certainly varies from day to day, but it's something that we're really committed to making sure that all of our student populations are feeling supported and have the right resources and policies in place for them to thrive.
Talk to me a little bit, Summer, about you taking on a presidency July 1st of this year.
That's right.
There must have been a thought process that goes into this. Like, coronavirus is still happening, as much as we, it's maybe settling down a tad, but it's still a major concern for folks. There's the vaccinations, unvaccinated, vaccinated, kids, adult. This must have been a really intentional decision for you, but I'm sure it took a lot of thought taking on. And I've asked so many presidents this that we've had on in the last year or two that have taken over a presidency, and they're like, I really had to think about it because there's so much to do to handle that 3 years ago you didn't have to handle. So how do you work through that decision to go, okay, I got this. I'm coming in and I'm going to make it happen in this type of situation in the middle of or maybe at the tail end of a very disruptive pandemic?
Well, I think for me, there were a couple of things that made that decision a little bit easier. Before becoming a college president at my previous institution, I had been the COVID-19 coordinator, and because of my PhD in public health and my background and expertise. And so I had the ability to impact and be involved in and work on every single aspect of my institution while I was still a dean of a college of health sciences. And so
is that by choice or by force or volunteer or volunteered, Summer, because you had the right background to be
I volunteered. I really felt called. It was having that background, finally being able to put my PhD in public health to some really meaningful use, was really quite Wonderful. And so in the state of Connecticut, every institution was required to have a COVID-19 coordinator. And so my president asked me to serve in this role. And I felt quite privileged to be able to build a team and to really come up with the strategies and the policies for us to return and be fully in person. And so having had that experience, not just being an academic dean, but working with residence life and student affairs and marketing communication, really gave me a taste of what it would be like to really be involved and engaged at every level across an institution. And so when Salem Academy and College came on my radar screen, it also was a very intriguing opportunity for me because of the college's plan to transform and to pivot and to focus on developing the next generation of health leaders.
Okay, tell me about that.
And so that's been my mission and my focus of my career since it started. I had been building academic programs in health since my very first assistant professorship. I had founded a school of health sciences at the University of New Haven, and so had spent my entire career doing program design and turnarounds. And so the opportunity to come to Salem and bring all of that experience to bear and to take a liberal arts institution with an incredible history and set of successes over 250 years and pivot it to a completely new transformational focus in my area of expertise. It just was, I really felt a job that was tailor-made for me. And so really felt like this was something that I really was very much called to do. Absolutely at a challenging time. But I joke, I tell folks that, a few months ago, maybe about 6 months ago, I was saying to folks, gosh, I am so ready to not be a COVID coordinator, to go back to being an academic dean and really just focus on my work. And neither of those things happened. I continue to lead and support our COVID-19 responses here at Salem and have had this incredible opportunity to become a college president. So, the best laid plans, of course, never work out, but very, very pleased to be here and really felt called and feel so aligned with what Salem is doing right now.
Amazing.
That's amazing. That's my amazing button. Summer, weren't you tired? I mean, COVID coordinator feels like that was probably the single hardest job in any college and university for a period of time. Weren't you tired? Did you look at this and, of course you're not going to say this now, but I mean, did you look at this and go, okay, I've got to really be like refreshed, mentally prepared to take on this role? Was there the fascinating part about this and for higher education leadership is because we're in a time that none of us have ever experienced. Did you have to take a break in between COVID coordinator, college president, and say, I'm going to hit a reset button, I'm going to go to Hawaii, I'm going to take a break, I'm going to unplug? Or did you just rock and roll from one to the next? Because that says a lot about your goals. And, either way, I think it's amazing, right? We have a lot of folks that are like, I needed to take a break. I needed to reset before I took on something new. And then some folks just kind of roll right through it. What was your approach?
So my approach was to rock and roll right through. I literally went from finishing up the role on June 30th at University of New Haven and starting the very next day at Salem. We're also in the midst of our decennial reaffirmation process with SACS. And so that was underway literally the day I had a meeting with SACS, the day I walked onto campus. So
of course, accreditation waits for no one.
Yeah, it was. And so, it was the one piece of advice my mentors gave me that I didn't listen to. And there are certainly days when I think, that month-long break that I should have taken really sounds nice right about now, but felt so called to come to Salem. There was so much work we needed to do. Accreditations wait for no one. New academic programs wait for no one. And we had a campus to reopen. Salem had been completely virtual for all of last year. And so I knew that luxury of having some downtime in between those two roles was really something that was not in Salem's best interest. And so buckled down and got started July 1. And like every new college president, it's been a wild ride for the last 100+ days, but really, really remarkable and feel so fortunate to be part of this community and to celebrate and to be successfully reopened. We mandated vaccinations and we have had fewer cases than you could count on your two hands this academic year of COVID-19. So very, very proud of our students for taking this seriously and really being safe and focused on campus health. So it's been great.
If you're experiencing any level of marketing challenge right now, you've got to ask the hard questions and you need answers. Are you using the right mix of channels to get in front of your future students? Is your messaging personalized and delivered in a medium your audience and future students will respond to? And are you spending more time building reporting than listening in on what your students really want? All of these questions will get answered when you sign up for your free consultation with MDT Marketing. Head to mdtmarketing.com/edup, submit your information, and talk to MDT. Don't go it alone. Find the right partner. The guys at MDT, the team at MDT is absolutely amazing. Whether your challenge is the cost of inquiries, your branding, the bad and incomplete information that come with your inquiries, whatever it is, an audit of your challenges will help your institution, and it's free. mdtmarketing.com/edup. I love your attitude. It's just like this, right?
Let's get started.
You're just all about it and running through, because you're not taking on, let's be honest, you're not taking on an easy gig here. And, when you look at the landscape of higher education, there's a lot of, the river's kind of against you in a lot of ways. And I say you, Salem Academy and College, number one, there's increased competition. And this is for a lot of small liberal arts colleges. It's, there's the liberal arts, and there's a big question on its value in the higher ed ecosystem. Do you need a degree? Do you not need a degree? There's obviously increased competition for students in general at every level. A lot more in digital marketing being spent. The power of the sale more in the buyer's hands than the seller. The supply and demand economics are fluctuating. There's non-credit education that's making a big time entrance into higher education. And there's just a lot. There's a lot there. The coming enrollment cliff. And then to add on, as a women's college, you're really narrowing down your focus to helping women, which is amazing. But of course, it takes out a part of the demographic that could be enrolled. So it's a big time challenge, a growth challenge. How do you approach this, right? You get there and you're in your third or fourth month, and you're going, what is my priority? What is the priority, Summer? How do you get through that and go, okay, this is what needs to be done for growth? How do you approach it?
Yeah, so I think the first priority was getting our narrative straight, being able to tell Salem's story in a compelling way. And that is something that we have spent a lot of time and effort on. We've engaged with partners because telling that story is important for enrollment management, and it's important for our alumni base and our advancement office. Being able to really tell, especially for an institution that is undertaking a major curricular shift and a pivot, being able to explain and tell our story and how we still are committed to the liberal arts and will still be a liberal arts college, but reframing that as a liberal arts institution grounded and focused on the liberal arts and liberal arts for leadership development. And so having the time and the opportunity to talk to the faculty, to get to know the campus and to know how firmly held their commitment was to the liberal arts was really important. And then finding a way, as you said, to translate that into something that really conveys value and meaning to prospective students while remaining true to the values that our alumni and others hold so dear. So a lot of conversations, a lot of honing that narrative about who we are as an institution today and who we are planning to become in the future, so that everybody here at Salem is all singing from the same hymnal. That was really my number one priority, besides getting the campus reopened, which was, certainly
which is a little task. I mean, that's
pieces.
like a tiny task,
yeah.
right? Yeah, big opening a campus, big deal. I mean, gosh, so you've got the set of challenges. I want to unpack some of that in just a second, but I do like to keep my guest on their toes here, Summer. So I have a question unrelated to higher education. I'm going to give you two choices on how to answer it. You ready?
Sure.
Summer for $1 million. Actually, $0, Summer. Let's find out a little bit about you. You can choose one. You can answer both. It's up to you. Summer, there's a song playing. It's your entrance music. Every time you walk into a room at Salem Academy and College, what song would be playing? Or tell us about your dream vacation.
Oh, wow. Those are both great. I think the vacation that I have been dreaming of, and certainly even more so over the last couple of months, is to go to the Maldives and one of those overwater huts where there's no cell phone signal and no one can find me, and I'll just sit and stare at the water and be able to swim. And when I moved to Winston-Salem, we left the coast of Connecticut, and really missing that water these days. So would love to go to a very remote place, stare at the water, no texts, no calls, and just reflect. I think it's that break I didn't get in transitioning into my new presidency that I would love to have happen. And really, like you flying to Doha, the deterrent has been for me to get to the Maldives. You spend a whole day getting there and a whole day getting back, and the time change. So one of these days I will find my way to those overwater huts and have that experience. I'm really looking
like with
forward
2
to
days
that.
on each side just for travel.
Yeah.
Right. You got to take 2 days to get there, 2 days to get back, the 5 days you want or 7 days you want in between, but it's like a 2 to 3 week long vacation. You add in the time change. That's my nervousness about going to Doha. I'm like, what am I going to be like when I get there? Is that, have I slept on the plane? Am I just taking Ambien, dropping Ambien like it's crazy, and I'm going to be, walking in as a zombie here? I mean, it's so. But Maldives, I mean, I'm going to tell you, we're going to grant access granted to the Maldives for summer. We need to get her out there, so maybe we'll crowdsource your trip or something and get you really interested in it by getting you lots of feedback on Maldives. That's cool. Oh, give me the entrance music, Justin, if you can. If you have a song at the top of your mind, Summer, what would it be?
Yeah, I think it's Don't Stop Thinking About Tomorrow, Fleetwood Mac. I think that's the entrance music. Yeah.
Love it. I love presidents to come on and talk about that, because there's been a couple instances when they get back to campus and it's playing, and it's so, pick a guy. I always say pick a good song, because you never know. But that's great. So unpack for me the curricular shift. You're talking about, first of all, let's just recognize how ridiculous 250 years is. All right. So, I mean, that's just absolutely ridiculous. And in higher ed years, I guess that has to be the standard, unless you're like, I don't know what the oldest one in the U.S. is, but 250 years seems there. And so that's ridiculous. But at the same time, you're talking about a major curricular shift. What is that? What does that mean? Because we have a lot of people that talk about innovation, updates to curriculum for the future proofing, getting ready for the 21st century skills. Talk to me about what that means when you come on to Salem, this giant curricular shift you're talking about.
Yeah, so as the country's oldest educational institution for girls and women, this is a very ambitious move that Salem College is making. And so what we are doing is really doing a complete transformation, not just of our curriculum, but also of our student experience. And so infusing health and opportunities to learn about health and wellness, incorporating wellness as a component of our leadership development curriculum. It's my firmly held belief that you can't be a successful leader if you're not well across all 8 of our dimensions of wellness, whether that's financial or mental health or organizationally. And so really taking a look at every single aspect of our incredibly beautiful and historic campus, and how do we make our student experience focus on health and wellness and developing leaders. And so, of course, we're working on changing our core curriculum. We're looking at a 4-year leadership development seminar where students will learn competencies and develop competencies in leadership, but also understanding the unique aspects of what it means to lead in a health-related environment. For example, one of our most talked about themes and competencies is teamwork, because teamwork is absolutely critical in the health space. And so, leadership is just not about knowing your own individual leadership style and how to motivate people. It's also about how to be a member of a group and part of a team. And so really looking at how do we develop the competency of teamwork, being able to be in a team and lead a team throughout and across our curriculum. And so those are the conversations we're having with our faculty and our staff right now. Of course, we've added a number of health-related majors majors. We added 4 last year before I arrived. We created 64 new courses over the summer with small faculty development grants. And we laid out a goal that more than 50% of our entire curriculum, all of our coursework, would be focused on health-related topics and leadership development for health by the end of this academic year. So it is really a whole cloth set of innovations and curricular and experiential learning changes that we are doing at a very quick pace. And so I have been so pleased and impressed that when I got here, the faculty were ready for change. The staff were ready for change and wanted to develop a very concrete implementation plan. And that's what we're putting the final touches on now, a 3-year roadmap to change every single aspect of our students' life and experience with us, from academics to residence life, internships, capstone projects, everything. So it's been a tremendously exciting project to work on. Very ambitious, very innovative, but still being true to the liberal arts, and that's the secret sauce. And using the liberal arts as an opportunity for leadership development.
I love it. Here's your dropping bombs. I love what you said, Summer. That's the bomb drop, because you're talking, first of all, doubling down on health-related careers is, I think it's a smart, amazing move, because we are seeing the value of those careers now and how critical they're going to be in the future. Shortages are clear in so many health-related careers. The let's say emergence and acceptance of mental health is a key component in our lives, and something that we communicate and don't hide, right? Because it used to be like you hide your when you have, you need time away for something, you would never tell anybody because it was, shunned or looked down upon. And now it's like, okay, this is real. And that these generations of people are continuing to get older. There's advancements in technology that we have to be ready for when it comes to health. And so that's a really smart move in terms of, I think it's a recruiting and retention and graduation and outcomes and jobs. It's just the whole pipeline. And then to your point about leadership, and what does leadership really mean in the 21st century? And how is liberal arts obsolete, or is it even more important than it's ever been, because you will learn about teamwork and dialogue and being able to work together in a collaboration? That's what a liberal arts education, in my mind, is really about. It's about the human skills, and it's the human skills that seem to be lacking for a lot of folks in the workforce, and we hear that a lot from business and industry. They need to know how to work together. It's great to hear that's a foundational component for you, Summer, and that you're doubling down on it. And are students seeing the importance yet, or are they in transition, and faculty in transition to get to that point? Are they already on board with going, yes, we've got to get teamwork to ramp up here?
I think our faculty and staff really are on board. I think for our students, of course, who came to Salem before this transformation was underway, for them, they're exploring this and imagining how this may impact them in the future. But part of the reason why Salem decided to pivot was already 43% of our students on our campus were pursuing STEM and health-related fields. And so this was already a passion. This was already a focus of our existing student body. And so to really have an opportunity for them to do a much deeper dive, but still be able to pursue their passions in the arts, and to still be able to focus on other aspects of themselves as a whole person. And so that's why we are firmly committed to still offering a range of liberal arts majors, even for our pre-professional students. And that's, I think, another distinction is, commonly folks will say, oh, so you're adding a bunch of clinical programs. We're not. We're actually adding those administrative and support professions and other types of programs, strongly preparing our students for pre-professional and clinical programs, medical school, dental school, vet school, all of those pathways as well. But really acknowledging that how healthcare has changed is there are so many new professions and careers. Those folks who make the clinical trials for COVID vaccines happen. We desperately need those kinds of professionals, not just the PhD level scientists in the lab. And so there's such a spectrum across the health professions that we need to fill with more women with a greater diversity. And that's what I think as a historically women serving institution, we are creating those opportunities for leadership for women, for non-binary individuals, for students of color in a very, very significant way. And that's where we see our industry partners really reaching out to us in a major way, because we are training a generation of leaders that they are really, really looking for and trying to address their own disparities and gaps that they have across the health leadership disciplines.
Talk a little bit about the pipeline to to Salem College. You have Salem Academy. So is it just kind of understood that if you're at Salem Academy, you're moving on to Salem College? Do you see, is that pipeline a real one for you, that you see persistence from the high school completion through to Salem College? Do they go elsewhere? How does that work and look for you all at Salem College?
Yeah, so that actually really surprised me when I arrived at Salem and found that the academy is not a major pipeline for the college. Our academy graduates go on to music conservatories. They go on to Duke and UNC and Appalachian State and all throughout the Southeast. And so a very small percentage of academy students stay with us at the college. And that's actually something we're looking at potentially shifting and creating accelerated pathways for students because our academy students do take college courses in their junior and senior year. And so to create an accelerated undergraduate degree completion pathway, particularly now that our academy students are focused on STEAM, there's sort of a natural alignment between the STEAM focus and our health related focus for students to be able to continue on, do an accelerated undergraduate degree, and then go on to the professional school of their choice. So that's a new initiative that we're looking to start up here in the next year or so to create more of those pathways and to a more accelerated option, particularly for high achieving students who know they're going to go on to medical school and spend 8 more years on their education. Why not accelerate that high school and undergraduate experience and then be ready to move on to professional school?
Yeah, I love that you have the kind of a little bit of a blank canvas there, because you just wonder, what can you do? How do you create an accelerated program? Credit towards your master's degree to reduce cost and create affordability. So from your undergraduate degree, even into the master's degree arena, how do you create that entire pipeline? And for you all to have those students who are at Salem Academy go, yes, I want to attend Salem College. It's such a unique opportunity. And glad to hear that you're focusing on it, because that's cool, right? I think there's so many of us that would wish that we could mold that student and pipeline to see the benefit of continuing on, right? So that's cool. I love it. And I hope it goes well for you all at Salem Academy and College. We have 2 final questions for you, Summer. We ask every single guest. Number 1, what did we miss about Salem Academy and College? What did we miss? What did I miss? Something I didn't ask you, something you want to say, initiative you have going on. Plug away if you'd like. And then number 2, what does the future of higher education look like?
Yeah, so first off, I think one thing I didn't get a chance to talk about much today is the real importance and value of historically women serving institutions. And so this is the first historically women serving institution that I have had the fortunate ability to be part of. And I just have been so impressed with how completely committed and focused on social mobility, how we serve our Pell eligible students, the incredible diversity and breadth of students that come to a historically women serving institution. And as you know, our numbers have been dwindling. And I think that it's something that we really should be talking about a lot more, that just like our peer institutions, the HCBUs and others, I think that and minority serving institutions, I think we serve a very unique role in the higher education ecosystem, along with historically Black colleges and universities and minority serving institutions and others. And I think that Salem, as the oldest educational institution for women and girls, is really looking to lead that charge with our other historically women's serving institution peers to really put a spotlight on that. We create leadership opportunities for women and other individuals unlike any others, and have the outcomes to show it. So very, very proud to be part of an institution with an amazing history, really phenomenal outcomes for quite a diversity of students. More than 50% of our students are students of color. And so we are incredibly proud and have an opportunity to be a place focused on social mobility. We're now ranked 4th in social mobility in US News and World Report. And I think that's something that often gets overlooked and isn't thought about women serving institutions. So that's one thing I would certainly share. And I think we need to think about how we preserve the unique identity of these incredibly important institutions as we go forward. I think the future of higher education, what I would say is it is about finding your niche. No longer being everything to everyone. I think it is so important. And what I have been so excited about here at Salem is that we are planting our flag. We have determined how we're going to be distinctive, and we're going to pursue that doggedly and to continue to have broad appeal to a wide range of students, but to have a very unique and specific identity. And I think particularly for small liberal arts colleges, we have to find ways to differentiate. And that also means stopping doing some of the things that we historically have done and really being very disciplined and being focused. And so I think that's one of the things I see for the future of small private liberal arts institutions, as well as for other institutions around the country. I think we all have to find our own unique identities. Here in the city of Winston-Salem, we have 5 different academic institutions, each with their own unique academic and student identities. And we all exist together in this ecosystem in a really remarkable way. And I think that really speaks to, I think, where we have to go in higher education, which is to find learners wherever they are, but also to be able to really be able to tell a clear story and a narrative about who we are as an institution, and to really transform and to focus in a really meaningful way. And so I think we're going to see more of that across the small private liberal arts institution space. But we also, all of us, whether we're large or small, have to continue to meet and find those learners and those students wherever they are, and to provide access and educational support and resources to meet them wherever they are on their educational journey. And so that goes back to the very beginning of this conversation of all the different stakeholders that we are trying to serve and to meet. And I think the institutions that master that across a whole range of lifelong learners will be those who are successful.
Wow. Love that. Love all of that, what you said, in particular, the piece about just the speed and intentionality that Salem is moving forward with, knowing that change is a part of sustainability, and to press forward, there have to be some systemic changes within an institution, financial models, curriculum updates, really a vision. We talked to so many institutions that they know that they're going to be having these problems, or are having them without the clarity of vision, I think, to move forward. So it's really refreshing to hear how direct and focused you're able to communicate, Summer, about what the future looks like. And I appreciate that here at the EdUp Experience. I hope you had a good time in the podcast. I do want to say, just very quickly as I have this up, Salem College is the 13th oldest college in the U.S. and the oldest college for women in the nation. That's so, even correct. The 13th oldest. It's insane, right?
It is.
It's just so, the student to faculty ratio of 12-1. And then something that I found really interesting is that that women who attend women's colleges are twice as likely as their peers in co-ed institutions to pursue careers in advanced degrees in the sciences. So that's, I think, a great stat. Talks about the value of a women's education. We obviously need more women leaders, particularly in higher, I don't want to say particularly, but definitely in higher education too. If you can get a couple interested, we do find that there are a lot more men than women in higher ed. Certainly, I think that's the case in most science careers. So it's great to see that pipeline being filled by Salem College and others like you. It's been an honor to have you on, Summer. Did you have a good time?
I had a great time. Thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
All right. Well, I am going to outro you here. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Summer McGee, president of Salem Academy and College, here on the EdUp Experience podcast. Everybody, you've just EdUp'd. Are you using the right mix of channels to get in front of your audience? Is your messaging personalized and delivered in a medium your audience responds to? Are you spending more time building reports than listening in on what your audience wants? These are not easy questions to answer. That's why our great friends at MDT Marketing are offering a free audit of your marketing efforts. Head to www.mdtmarketing.com/edup and submit your information for your free consultation today. Look, guys, you got nothing to lose. It's free. I don't know why you wouldn't want a free audit to tell you what you're doing, whether it's effective, and how you can make some incremental changes that can make a big difference moving forward. That's www.mdtmarketing.com/edup.